What's up, y'all? So today I'm just going to propagate into the realm, as always, right? And for starters, yeah, just gotta, y'all know how I do, right? If y'all gonna rock with me on this journey, y'all gonna have to get used to like bed head sometimes. It's like, just get up. Give me some slack here. Jeez. Jeez. So, my God. I'm kidding. That bird is really having a good time. So, we're going to talk about the state of the world, where we find ourselves. Because normally I talk about Babylon, and I tend to put little specklings about the world in my videos, but for the most part, it's about Babylon. But there is more to Babylon than just certain nations. So, let's talk about the world, and then we'll just go down from there. Start with the world, then we'll go to the masses. So let's start with the African Union. So you folks go to other organizations such as BRICS or the European Union asking them for help. Then when they don't really give you a reason on why they're not helping you to the fullest capacity that you think they should be helping you.
Obviously, the conflict is more complicated, more complex than that, and that it will take more than just a round of African head of state going there and preaching good feelings.
You're like, I don't know, I just don't understand why you're not helping us. Why don't you help us? Because they don't have to. And the fact that you don't really know how to cultivate your own land and pretty much isolate yourselves to set your country up it kind of boggles the mind, you know?
Blaise Compaoré, Sankara's friend and fellow former soldier, foiled another coup that included an attempt on Sankara's life. Eventually, Ouedraogo resigned without further violence, and on August 4, 1983, Thomas Sankara became the new president of Upper Volta. Finally in charge, Sankara launched an ambitious program for social and economic change. As one of his first agenda items, he renamed the country from its French colonial title, Upper Volta, to Burkina Faso, which translates to Land of Upright Men. Over the next 4 years, he established a nationwide literacy campaign, ordered the planting of over 10 million trees, and composed a new national anthem, all while cutting down inflated government employee salaries. But perhaps the most unique element of Sankara's revolution was his dedication to gender equality.
Entire communities can be set up. You got fresh water. You can find fresh water. You got the technology to do that. I'm sure you do, unless you spent it all on weapons. You can't buy seeds. Does no one know how to farm? You have no engineers that can build bridges or anything like that. You don't have any ingenious people in your country. That's just hard to believe. It sounds like you are hiding information from yourselves about how to be better. So,
you have no right to detain us.
Liar, liar, your pants on fire. So says my computer, Miss Ross. You used to work for the CIA, and now you're Travicom. Travicom pays better than the CIA.
You have a big mouth.
Monroe, you have the worst timing in the world.
Tell me about it.
They blew up the president's Mercedes-Benz. Did you know that? My country will be in shit for at least a year. More. Mr. Homolka? Stop eating my sesame cake! This fellow is a big bag of shit. You should shake this rat from off of your neck. I will ask you to wait outside, Mr. Molka. I like that, Mr. Ross.
I really want to dig deeply into the African Union because what's the point? Why do I need to do that? Because what's the point? You have a whole continent that people assume was colonized, but honestly, some of these nations that you assumed colonized you, you were controlled by a bloodline. And that bloodline, for a certain point in history, was more darker in hue. A little bit more melanin mixed in there.
I'm going to show you several astonishing lost maps of ancient Africa and the Sahara, which blew me away, as what's shown on these maps is simply not supposed to be possible, and the implications of which are absolutely enormous, as you'll see by the end of this video. And it's hard to know which map to show you first, so let me start by asking, why on earth does a map that was created closer to 500 years ago, and which also happens to be one of the world's first ever maps to depict the entire continent of Africa as a whole, clearly illustrate lakes, rivers, and even a dense forest the size of Texas in the middle of the Sahara Desert, which, needless to say, is obviously far different than the vast, barren, continental-sized desert that we all know it for today. And if you think it's odd to see lakes, rivers, and lush vegetation in the Sahara, wait until I show you what else is hiding on this map later in the video. But first, it must be mentioned that considering that this map was created by Sebastian Münster, who has been said to be one of the most influential cartographers of the 16th century, as he was the first person to print separate maps for each continent around the world, including not only of Africa, but that of Europe, North and South America, which is rather fascinating. And he even produced the first ever printed map of Asia.
And then a culmination of events, a series of events that shaped the way this world is now, took place. You believe they colonized when in actuality, they just took over what was already there, what was already established. Families. They kicked those families out to a certain degree, and then they came in to assess, to see what they won, to the victors. But our history has been written a specific way, curtailing everything, hiding information. Africa's not a real continent, it's a dark continent. There's nothing that comes out of there. Sure. Just insane, all of you. And then you want to talk about the European Union? You pyramid scheme organizational lot really think y'all have hidden so many facts for years. You pretty much blew up almost all of Europe just to get rid of a lot of that information and then blaming it on wars. When all of you are in an organization, then you had the royal families fighting against each other.
Also, Wilhelm and Nicholas were step-cousins of George V, also the grandson of Queen Victoria, who decided to enter World War I on the side of Russia and France. But they were not the only sovereigns in Victoria's family, who had 9 children and 42 grandchildren with her husband, German Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha. The couple's descendants even occupied the thrones of 10 European nations, which is why the monarch was nicknamed Europe's grandmother. But, as in many families, especially such a powerful one, there are affinities, but also strong rivalries. And these tensions eventually fueled a war that engulfed an entire continent, causing millions of deaths.
And I'm just like, so y'all are related, but y'all are fighting a war against one another? That seems very odd. Weren't you just at a fancy dinner with one another? Aren't you speculating all of this? Sure, I guess you can say I'm speculating all of this. I'm pulling it out of nowhere. But really, in all honesty, if you just do your due diligence and research, you'll find out a lot of facts have been hidden from you that are right there in plain sight. So, go research. No, we're just sitting here pretending with one another. Don't get me started on Ukraine and Russia. Most of Ukraine is Russian, so I don't I think I've been to that. Do you? Do you? You can't even win a war because it's not a real war. And for those who are trying to figure out who I am talking to or referring to, it's for a specific world leader who is tied up in all of that, wearing green all the time. Like, what are we doing? What are we saying to each other? You can't talk about American politics because this is Looney Tunes over here.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is a proud day for all Americans. The Martian ambassador is going to say a few words. Come on down, Mr. Ambassador.
These people don't make any sense. This world is gone. And you have folks talking about how, I'm switching gears a lot, but really my mindset at this moment is just, I'm just enjoying this collapse because you people are crazy as crap. If any person, spirit, or entity wanted to interact with y'all, they would probably not want to because you're foolish. You don't serve a purpose. You have no real purpose. This whole civilization doesn't have a purpose.
We heard about you before you even got up here. While you have a chance, you need to be trying to get an education because your looks ain't gonna get you paid. Because you're not that cute. And your hair is uneven. You look dusty. So I'm saying, what else are you gonna do besides pander, rob, steal, try to trick some girl up out of her baby's check or something?
What are you striving for as a collective? To better humanity? For the golden age, right? Well, one thing that everyone fails to realize about a golden age is that right before the golden age is a complete and utter collapse. It always happens that way, for the most part. So, what are we talking about? And I know this video can be seen as a little bit of a rant and just going off topic, going to just switching to multiple topics, but it all ties in together because it's all connected. I mean, honestly, can any of us say we really recall a great deal of the past 3 years? They have been serving us up chemical that they have concocted that really messes with your short-term memory. Like, what are we doing? What are we telling ourselves? We're sitting up here pretending with one another as if that's cool. Speaking to the masses, they're just kind of, Every other year is something pertaining to UFOs and aliens, and I'm just like, they're distracting you. It's just so crazy right now how this world is being so heavily manipulated with fear, distractions. And then they talk about misinformation, let's censor the people. They know they can't do that. You have people on these platforms who are higher in degrees than a lot of these governors and presidents, prime ministers. They make the decisions.
Well, hey, boys, how about my phone call?
We're sorry. You have reached a number that has been disconnected or is no longer in service.
Oh, shit.
If you feel you have reached...
That's correct.
You know, I'm Dana Sabota, State Attorney General. You got DEA, ATF, FBI all wanting their pound of flesh. And the state of Arkansas is gonna rip the bark right off of you, boy. We are gonna put you in a 4x6 cell for the rest of your life.
Miss Sabota, I have Governor Clinton on the line. He says it's urgent.
I'm gonna walk out of here. I'm gonna walk out of here. There ain't a damn thing any one of you can do about it.
Do it.
Wait a minute, huh?
No, he's free to go, boys.
What the hell you mean he's free to go?
I'll be seeing you, Seal.
Ma'am?
But we can't speak about that. It's all money talks, right? Money is a currency. Money is an energy. It just falls on you and where you are in your journey. Because honestly, your vibration actually talks. Your perception on who you are internally talks. So what are we talking about? So what are we saying? What's going on? What are you done talking about the nations? You talked about the African Union, the European Union, and Ukraine and Russia. What about China? What about China? You said? Do you see what they do with animals? That whole side of the world, the way they treat animals is a little less than humane.
Rats are a cheap and popular snack. While some wet markets just sell vegetables and meat, many worldwide kill and clean animals to order. Elsewhere, different types of birds, some wild, slaughtered and cooked while the customer waits. They say the meat is fresh. Some argue it's kinder than battery farming.
So, when I say less than humane actions will be karmically pushed onto certain regions, that's just the way it is. That's on them. They made choices. They made decisions, knowing full well where we are. The ones at the top, anyone who makes it to the top in your, whatever your government decides itself as, they know more information than they put on. Because there are entities out there who control a lot of this. Not people, entities.
I'm Amalia.
Sister,
Yes, Amalia, yes.
are you okay?
David, could I see you for a second? Amalia, it's just a spiritual matter. We'll be right back. There's a demon in there. Between them, it has its hands on their shoulders.
I didn't see anything.
Because you're not as good. Look at your feet. There's a trail of slime here, like a snail.
Are you sure?
Don't patronize me.
What do you want me to do?
There's something possessed in their marriage.
They've only been married a week.
It doesn't matter if it's an hour. Find out what the issue is.
They take form. And then they propagate because they know more than you. They've been here longer than you. Because when you pass and reawaken, you don't know anything. Especially if you've been pushed into this karmic journey. And just as a disclaimer, if you do see me tearing up in this video, again, I have just gotten up. Why don't you just rinse your face before recording? Shut up. Just shut up. Jesus. I'm a character, I can tell you. And really, when I do these little side voices, it's because you know people out there have these side comments. They will always talk. It comes out in frequencies and wavelengths, and so you can pick up on that kind of stuff. So just be aware that if you think you are crazy, you are probably not crazy. You've just been mislabeled because, again, our psychological community, when it comes to understanding the human psyche and the brain, they're still at the very beginning, very basics. They know a great deal of information and can label a great deal of things, but...
I've been following the case for years. 29-year-old female diagnosed as acute schizoaffective disorder. The usual indicators: depression, anxiety, violent acting out, delusions of persecution. The delusional architecture is fairly unique. She believes that a machine called a Terminator was sent back through time to kill her.
That's original.
And also, the year 2029, if I remember correctly. Here we are. Morning, Sarah.
Good morning, Dr. Silberman.
Come with me if you want to live.
It's okay, Mom. He's here to help. It's okay.
Go!
They don't know. How do they know so much but don't know? I ask myself that every day. You won't recall this in the next 10 days anyway, so it doesn't matter. You just keep on drinking what you're drinking and eating what you're eating. It's okay. It's okay, we'll just go with it. So, who's left? Australia? South America? We all are connected, for the most part, through the organization. So, a lot of these governmental structures, they're part of the organization. I mean, that's just the way things operate. That's just the way it works for the past era. We're moving into a new era, so we're going to have to change the way the game is played, of course, but we have to wait on the collapse fully and utterly to be able to move forward, because right now if you have noticed, we're inundated with so much crap. It's just all up in our face. And yes, I'm using my hands today. My apologies. Hands can... Never mind. Hands can do a lot of damage, so...
You will take us to the holocron.
Jedi mind tricks don't work on me.
You will take us to the holocron. You will take us to the holocron.
I won't.
Now!
I will take you. I'll take you to the holocron. You'll get your children back.
And I wasn't using them as a method against you, so. As for this crazy talk that I am pushing onto you, you really need to wake up. And I'm not speaking to you as individuals. I'm speaking to the collective, the mass majority of people. Because at this moment, you think that, oh, they clone Tyrell. Oh my God, that's such a real movie that they are dropping so much. No, they're not. Absolutely not. Everything has always been in your face. No, like every movie has dropped something. So for you to highlight one particular movie just goes to show me where your psyche is. It's very childlike. Very childlike. It's just it's getting ridiculous at this point, because you got people who are here when the civilization is here, and these people are looking down like, what's going on? And that will be the last time I will use my hands in this video, because that was too much hand action. Too much hand action. So, with that, this time, people, please, this time, you really have to realize that they are not fighting for you. They are really against you right now. And when I say they, I mean government, I mean the organization, because they're looking out for themselves. If you pass a certain degree, they are only looking out for themselves. We want a better humanity. What are you talking about? We propagate too.
Who's that?
It's Raymond, sir.
You're gonna get soaking wet, Raymond. Raymond.
I came to apologize, sir.
It's not your fault, Raymond. It's not your fault.
I'm sorry, sir.
It's your mother.
Doing this a long time. Your organization was created by a certain set group of people. The information that we've all been given has been planted. And as the dots get connected, you see how, and you can tell that everything we've been given was planted as a seedling, and now it's growing. It's branching out. The roots are there. Too many coincidences, right? Nothing is a coincidence. It's all connected. So, if you've made it to this point, congratulations. You've made it through the convolution of this whole video, because I've been all over the place with this one. But just rest assured that everything stated is because it's connected. It's all connected. So, with that message out there, You better not be fearing, and if you are fearing, it's gonna be all right. No, it's not. Everything's falling apart. Yes, yes it is. But here's one tip for you. Go with it. Now, with a smile on and positive vibes your way. For the light workers, keep doing your thing. For the chosen, stay on mission. And for those who know, let's get it.